Hi, I'm Rick Dior, and I'm the professor of percussion at UNC Charlotte. And this is the NCBA concert snare drum audition for grades 11 through 12. So this is the part one of this little exercise here, and we'll do this classical solo, and in another video I'll show you the technical portion, which has rudimental snare drum and crash cymbals. So we're going to talk about this solo today. It's not too difficult, but there are a lot of dynamics, and there's certain things that you should know that'll make your audition run smoother. Now, the sticks I'm using today are, these are sticks that I make, but you definitely don't have to use those. Any stick will do, but I like a stick that has a longer bead for this. So this is a reverse tip stick that I make. I'll show you the tip here. And it works really well for rolls, closed rolls. It's also very articulate. So this solo has a lot of dynamics, and the first thing you need to do when you're practicing is set the dynamic levels. So let's think of these as thresholds. So your loudest is a fortissimo, which might be this. And then your softest is a pianissimo, which might be this. And everything in between are registered to those two thresholds. So just think of those as two walls, and then you have your softest and your loudest, and you're moving in between those. So once you have that set, your first dynamic here is forte, and it's a 4-stroke rough. There's two ways to approach this. You can do it singles, or you can do it with a double. The sticking sometimes that I use is right, left, left, right. Now in the solo when I played it, you saw me doing it as singles. There's a few other ones in the solo. The soft ones, as occur in the second line, this one 4-stroke rough, I play it with that sticking right, left, left, right. There's a slight accent on that. So being softer, it's easier to execute that way. And you may be a little nervous walking into a room with some people you don't know in there. You know, with the drum you may not be familiar with. And speaking of that, let's talk about the drum you should use. So you should definitely use a concert snare drum. And the difference between a concert snare drum and a regular snare drum is a regular snare drum that you use on drum set has curly snares. A concert drum has snares like this. So you see these snares. So it's a multitude of different types of wire and cable and cord. And that's just a regular old Pearl Philharmonic drum, which is fine. That's a wood drum. The drum I'm using today, this is kind of a special drum. It's a Clevelander brass drum from the 1990s. Very heavy drum. So as far as the drum, I would suggest either a wood drum or some sort of metal, aluminum, brass drum. And I think the best size for this solo would be 5.5 or 5 by 14. Don't use a real deep drum because you have so many soft things. The drum needs to be very sensitive and speak very fast. So we'll go through this solo section by section. One thing you need to be aware of is you should always practice it with a metronome. And there you saw me subdivide it. So I have the 8th note going, so when I get to the 6/8 section at B, then we already have our tempo in 8th notes. So there I have it at the written tempo of quarter note equals 105 or 8th note equals 210. So you want to set that, and this is what that sounds like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the 8th note stays the same. Now in the beginning, the first line, let me just play that for you, and then we'll talk a little about stickings. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'll notice in that third measure of 4/4, I'm doing that figure on the third beat like this. So you want your accents to be on your strong hand. I'm a righty, so my accents are on that hand. So it's left, right, as you see here on the screen. Now also I'm using the traditional grip. I grew up playing this way. I'm a little bit of an older guy, so I grew up playing in the 70s and 80s where everybody played traditional. Match grip is perfectly fine. So and I play that way quite a bit, but I'm just a little more comfortable at this point in my life traditional. Either grip is completely fine. Just make sure you sound good doing whichever grip you're doing. Use the grip that sounds and feels better to you. So all these accents should take place on the strong hand. In the second line is where we start having this soft stuff. So this first measure is all pianissimo or piano. 1, 2, 3, 4. You notice once again the accents are normally done on my strong hand. Now the rolls are tricky because at this tempo it's kind of in the nooks and crannies, so you may have some trouble. So I'll give you a little bit of advice there. You want to have an underlying pulse to your closed rolls. So in other words, if it's a buzz roll, it can be done like that at this tempo with triplets. But that's pushing it just a little. You can do that on the loud stuff, but the soft stuff, it's trickier. So what I would suggest is just a 16th note underlying pulse like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you see for the loud rolls there, I was using the triplet, so, and soft. You don't have to do that, but again, the tempo is in the middle of anything comfortable. So, I might advise that. Now, the other way to do it is to start with one hand and end with another. That works well. So that would sound like this. So that's a great thing to do when you have a tempo that's not really friendly to either grouping. That's an odd grouping there. So group of 5 and then a hit. All right, so that's something you can think about as well for the rolls. The hardest part of this solo happens at B with these dynamics. They're so soft. And I'm doing these 30-second note things as singles, but you can also double them like this. That's singled, and this is doubled and singled. All right, so that either one works. I choose to single it. I think it's has a little more articulation to it. The second line of B has this flam figure, which is going to pretty much give all of you some trouble. The way I do that is I alternate. I go so like this. And you'll see I'm bouncing. All right, so the bounce is the way to go. You could try it one hand, which is possible, but it's pretty quick. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So either way works. So let me play from B for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're on to C, which is more of a recap of the original themes there. Now, the second bar of C is tricky with this roll at the end of the bar on the E. So it's for E. So let me play from C for you. 1, 2, 3. Now, a tricky roll section is the second line from the end there, that 4, 4. So it's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, all while you're doing a diminuendo. 1, 2, 3, 4. And make sure you're doing that crescendo over 2 bars at the end. And that's pretty much it. So It's a good solo to do for your dynamics. It's not the hardest thing that we've had to do with these district solos, but it sort of shows off everything, rolls, dynamics. So it's definitely going to take you a little bit of practice time. So the next video I'll do will deal with the technical portion, which is a rudimental snare drum audition and then some cymbal playing. See you then.